Hello, all my chickadees! Welcome back to my nest! Today we're going to be continuing Nightshade, You're the Drug. This is part 8, so you haven't seen the other parts, hop on over to my channel and check them out. 1 through 7 are up in a playlist, and there you go. That's all you need to catch up. Alright, we're going to jump back in. We were currently with a very pissed off Pavel and Vadim. Because Pavel found out that somebody was making copies of a drug he pulled for being unsafe, and he's going to that warehouse. And possibly our boy Mishka is being held hostage there. We don't know, but we're gonna find out. Hopefully, I miss our boy. I miss him. Okay, continue. It was this one. Okay, this is at the warehouse. I don't know who these people are. I don't know if I remember seeing those lights with Miss Mishka. I hope Mishka's here. Okay, I can't talk right off the bat. The molecular compound is holding well, especially when we compare it to the original equation. Alexis! Oh, the guy on the right. That is Sasha's boss. That's the one that was giving him like the drugs to go and sell to people and everything. Okay, wise guy. What the fuck does that mean exactly? It means that the drug is stable and replication near perfect. Then just say it's working, Emerson. It's working. Emerson looks like he's just done. He's just done. The person in the lab coat held the clip door close to their chest, absently tapping the fingers along the wooden backing. They eyed the henchman idly about the warehouse, then turned back to Alexis. How many units did Roman request? Shit, I don't know. As many as we can make until he tells us to stop? I don't care, as long as I'm getting what he promised me. Right. Well, it appears we've got about 5 tons. 5 tons? 5 tons? What the freak? What? Dude, that is way too many. That's so much drugs. Holy freaking crap. If we continue at this rate through the night, we should have an additional 2 or 3 tons and be ready to start distribution as soon as tomorrow. The chemistress flipped the paper on the clipboard, scanning the revealed charts. Good. I'll start feeding it out to the dealers. That's a gunshot. Is Pavel shooting people? Emerson whipped around and darted behind Alexis. The clipboard clutched like a shield in front of them, and their eyes wide. What the fuck was that? Oh, we're here! The gang has arrived! Yes! Oh, look at that pissed off boy. Vadim reloaded his gun and pointed the barrel towards Alexis.
Somehow I'm not surprised to see your face, Alexei.
Oh, voice acted. Heck yeah! I hope you guys can hear it okay.
What the hell?
Even after all the shit I've done for you, I'm still not surprised that you're at the other end of this. Emerson shifted his stare from Vadim's gun to Pavel, peering over Alexis's shoulder intently. Sasha gripped the straps of the backpack on his shoulder tightly, his heart racing. Someone made me a better deal, Pav. You should know how this world works. The people of Sabina love your drug. You should be proud. Proud? A panicked henchman near Alexis reaches for his gun. No. No. Sasha watched the man drop to the ground.
Nobody else moves.
Oh, wow. Look at that pissed off expression. Vadim's on top of it. He likes, anybody moves, you die. He's not gonna let nobody bother Pav. Sasha's gaze remained fixed on the man's body, writhing on the ground. Hey, I'm sure we can work something out. Hands raised, Alexis took a cautious step forward. You were told not to move. He jumped back, eyeing the small hole in the ground before him. I said, don't move. Pavel shook his head and snarled at Alexis. NS wasn't compatible. It wasn't ready. I pulled that shit off the street, and here you are, defiling it and sending it back out there. And you, whoever you are. Emerson. They said their name with a hint of embarrassment, then frowned in confusion as Pavel's words sank in. It wasn't ready? Emerson stepped out from behind Alexis. The sample Alexis brought in, I studied it thoroughly. Oh, he pissed. That is a beautiful gun, though. Oh, I love the artwork. Oh, I didn't notice that. Look at Vadim. Like, the back of his head is shaved. Oh, I bet that's, like, much cooler on him. He's wearing all that black. You know, he needs a bit cool breeze. Sasha's just like, I am so concerned. Why am I in? I am in over my head here. I'm surprised Alexis hasn't said anything about Sasha being with them. Man, Pav looks so freaking cool. Pavel reaches inside his jacket and whips out his flowery purple pistol. He aimed the weapon at Emerson, hands ready. Hands steady. They glanced at the pointed gun and took a hesitant step back. The ability to chemically induce euphoria in the user, such a unique way. It's, well, actually quite beautiful. I just don't understand. What about it is flawed exactly?
No.
How dare you call yourself a chemist? You take my product, my equations, my work, an imperfect product, and you smear your shit all over it. Sasha quickly looked away. He'd seen enough people shot tonight to last a lifetime, and he didn't want to see another. And you both thought you could get away with it, that I wouldn't see it? But, Pavel, it's not imperfect. Your drug works. No, it doesn't. That drug failed. It was just as addictive as the others. It completely failed. As addictive? What are you trying to... Cut the small talk, Emerson. Come on, Pav. We can be reasonable. I've worked with you all these years. You know me. Pavel tightened his grip on the pistol and adjusted his aim. The barrel now pointed directly at Alexis. Who'd you sell out to? I didn't sell out to no one. Sasha, you want to vouch for me here? He's like, why are you bringing me into this? No. Where's Mishka? What? Where's Mishka? Sorry, I don't know who you're talking about. This was the wrong people. Dang it. He's lying. Pavel cocked his gun. Answer him. I don't know what he's talking about. Pav, you know I only had the success of the drug in mind. No, you had the success to line your wallet. No, you only thought about how much money you can make. You just betrayed my trust, my product, and my vision. Who are you working for? Who cut you the deal? Alexis, don't tell me now. Are they gonna tell him? Pavel glared between the two, keeping the gun pointed forward. He held out a hand toward Sasha. Sasha. Sasha looked up at Pavel, eyes wide. Open the bag. Sasha let the backpack slide down his shoulder enough for him to open it. He pulled the zipper so fast that it jammed, but he got it free within a few frantic tugs. He is so nervous. I mean, I don't blame him. He's in the middle of this, like, drug war, and everybody's dying around him. Now, take out the tube that's in there and crack it. Sasha reached in and pulled the tube out. It looked like a road flare. It took a bit more force than he expected, but Sasha managed to crack it against his leg. Once he heard it start to fizzle, he handed the stick off to Pavel. Is that... Do either of you know what happens when potassium permanganate and glycerin come in contact? Oh, say, in a tube-like container. Did you make a bomb? You have 3 minutes to get out of here if you don't want to burn down with this lab. Oh! He's gonna set the whole place on fire. He's like, I am destroying this, like, tons and tons of freaking drugs you made. I'm destroying it. Now, you want to go down with it? Oh, he's not playing. Pavel wound his arm back and tossed the tube into the lab tables nearby, their surfaces coated in documents and newly packaged drugs. Oh, look at Sasha. Sasha's like, holy freaking crap. Horrified, Emerson lunged towards one of the tables and desperately tried to shove baggies of NS into their coat. Emerson! No! You shouldn't be concerned with that. You should be trying to get the freak out. Wait, does he have a frog on his tie? He has a frog on his tie. 2 minutes now. Go. Emerson recoiled and dropped the supplies when the bullet grazed their shoulder. Panicked, they retreated, holding their wound as they stumbled towards the exit and disappeared. Flames leaped from the now burning tables and large clouds of smoke began to fill the room, rising towards the ceiling. Fuck this! Despite Pavel's 2-minute warning, the chemical fire had already started to engulf the lab equipment, the flames roaring higher as they burned the NS. The moment smoke was detected, the alarm system went off, echoing loudly across the warehouse. Pavel reached into the bag on Sasha's shoulder and pulled out a second tube. Cracking it on his leg, he threw it at another table. Smoke continued to billow towards the ceiling, large plumes towering higher and higher, becoming darker and darker. Pav, Sasha, we have to go now. Pavel grabbed for Sasha's hands and wound his fingers around his friend's. Without another word, he tugged Sasha along after Vadim. Oh, he was making sure Sasha came. He's like, listen, I'm not leaving you behind. You coming with me. Oh, he took care of business. He took care of business. Heck yeah. Breaking into a run, the three of them hurried back to the car. Oh. Ida watched from the safety of the nearby roof as workers ran from the burning building. The warehouse groaned with the shifting of hot metal and wood. Unfazed by the roar of the fire, he kept his gaze locked on the warehouse entrance. When 3 more figures fled the building and sped away in a purple car, Ida disappeared. Vadim blazed down the highway at breakneck speed, the purple sports car weaving between lanes with expertise. His fingers were tight on the steering wheel when he shifted gears and sped up. We're going to have to talk about this. Pavel, who was typing aggressively on his phone, stopped and looked up at Vadim. Sasha sat in the back seat, staring at his hands in silence. I don't know what was going through your head back there, Pav, but that was uncalled for. Stopping Ecto from distributing my drug was uncalled for? No, but I wish you would have told me what we were getting into. You burned a building to the ground on an impulse. Pavel's hand gripped the phone tight. I had no choice. It'd be better to burn a dozen warehouses down than let that drug back into the city. If Ecto had distributed the drug, I understand what was at stake, and you still should have told me. We'll talk about this later. Okay. Silence filled the car yet again. The weight of what just happened felt heavier on Sasha's heart by the second. Alexis was still there that night. At the club. There's no way he isn't connected to all this. But it doesn't make sense. He said he knew nothing. Was he lying? Sasha laced his fingers and squeezed them tight, bringing them together while he stared out the window.
Sasha.
Huh? Sasha turned his head towards Pavel, who was staring at him over the front passenger seat with concern. Are you okay? No. Alexis, he didn't know anything about Mishka. I thought we were getting closer to finding him. Sasha felt his chest tighten, nausea stirring from his unsettled stomach. We are.
Ugh.
What do you mean? We don't know anything. They were mass-producing NS and we caught them doing it. It's not a far reach to think they kidnapped Mishka too. I still don't understand what they would want with Mishka. They probably thought he interfered, or maybe he found something. He might have posed a threat to them. Mishka was in the room with me when I dropped off the NS drug. Alexis was lying. He had to have been. Mishka was in the room with me when I... Oh my god. Sasha's voice wavered. Suddenly he felt his throat tightening, his heart racing, almost as quickly as his thoughts. I asked him to come with me that night. If I'd gone alone... Sasha, this wasn't something you could control. But he wasn't supposed to be there. I'm the reason he was there. He didn't even want to go. You're not the reason Mishka was taken, and you're not responsible for the choices other people make. So please, stop punishing yourself. Oh, he's like, he's like, it's my fault that Mishka is in this. Oh, poor Sasha. He feels so bad. Oh, he just wants his friend back. Well, we'll find Mishka. Whatever it takes. The car grew quiet. Sasha's hands curled tightly around the hem of his shirt. I'm in way over my head. Sasha's brows furrowed as he watched shadowed trees pass outside his window. There's gotta be another way.
Take me to Dima. I'm ready to talk.
Oh. I don't know what to do, man. What are we even gonna say? Lifting a hand to rub at the soot sprain... Oh my gosh. Let's try that again. Lifting a hand to rub at the soot stains on his cheek, Alexis paced back and forth outside the executive office he dared not go into. The truth? The chemist pressed a cloth to their shoulder, wincing at the stinging sensation. Are you fucking stupid? Disbelief crossed his face for only a moment while he ran his shaking hand through his hair. The whole thing burned down. We can't cover that up. I can't cover that up. God damn it, what are we gonna do? Fuck. Okay, no, shut up. I think I got it. Yeah, okay. I'll tell him it was, an electrical fire. That shit happens, right? Sure. You don't say a fucking word, got it? Not a single fucking word. I got this. I'll handle this. We'll be in and out and it'll be fine. The echoing sounds of approaching footsteps down the hall stopped, short of the two outside the office. Hey, Roman's looking for you guys. He sent me out here to find you. Thanks, Riker. Fuck. Okay, let's go. Right. Well, good luck. Turning on his heel, the tall, red-haired man stared back in the direction he came, hands deep in his pockets. Alexis opened the door by grabbing the handle and leaning against it. He stepped inside and left enough space for the chemist to follow behind him. Oh, something's about to go down. Because Ada knows. Ada knows the others were there. So if they lie, Ada's going to be like, listen, no. Oh, sorry, I was yawning. Is that so? Otto nodded, clasping his hands behind his back while he stood near the chair Roman sat in. His gaze flickered towards the door as it opened. Roman leaned on the arm of his chair, his hand partially obscuring his mouth. His glare was cold, dark eyes shifting between the two who had just walked in. He said nothing as he tapped his upper lip. Roman, look, okay, now, this is gonna sound batshit wild, alright? And it's kind of funny, but, like, okay, so what happened? I already know what happened. Ada rounded the chair and approached the dark, sleek desk. He opened the drawer with a soft creak and grabbed the pistol that was inside. Returning back to Roman's side, he held the weapon out to the silver-haired man without a word. Look, I didn't know they were going to show up. Is that not why we gave you guards? Pushing his chair back, Roman came to his feet. His eyes remained fixed on Alexis. Oh, dude. This is not going to go well for you. But Oh, that was a headshot. Oh, that was a headshot. Emerson flinched as Alexis' body fell to the floor beside him. Roman pulled the slider back on the handgun to reload the chamber before pointing it at Emerson. Pop's making a new drug. The chemist trembled violently, their breath staggered, heart hammering away in their chest. Every single second counted. Pavel, he is making a non-addictive drug. Ada glared at the chemist's direction, his brows tense. He lifted his head and took a step forward. If it were true, how could he have missed such a thing? Where did you get that information? Ada, quiet. You have 30 seconds to explain. He kept saying the drug was imperfect, that it was flawed. Roman tilted his head ever so slightly to the side, watching the chemist with a haunting stare. He slowly lowered the pistol in his hand. Go on. When I questioned why, he didn't answer me directly. Only said it was too addictive compared to its predecessors. Make your point? Ada's fingers curled into a tight fist. There was a subtle change in Emerson's expression as their thoughts came together, like pieces of a puzzle falling into place. They came to a realization. His vision. Pavel's vision. NS was never meant to be a drug the city was dependent on. It was meant to be a drug to give autonomy back to the city. A subtle look of surprise crossed Ada's features. For no longer than a second, he turned his head towards Roman, then back to Emerson. Roman's brows furrowed as the word set in. Autonomy? Does Dima not realize this city only stands because we are holding it up? Give these people an ounce of power, and Sabina will return to the worthless husk it was before we elevated it. This is... Roman hissed under his breath. This is the last time he'll undermine me. His face twisting into a scowl, Roman turned his gaze back towards Emerson. Was anything salvaged? No. I tried to grab what I could, but... They gestured to the bullet wound on their arm. Pavel wouldn't have it. Emerson glanced briefly towards Alexis's body and drew in a deep breath. I left before the building collapsed. Is that what you saw, Ada? Yes. I saw Emerson and Alexei leaving the warehouse while it burned. And what did Pavel invite him? I assumed he was with him. Yes. And there was a third. A third? At that moment, Roman turned to face Ada. Sasha was with them. Mishka's Sasha. Ah! He called him Mishka Sasha. Ah! He is Mishka Sasha. The door flew open. Riker's urgency was apparent in his erratic breathing. His hand maintained a tight grip on the door handle. Sir, we got eyes on a Strexa agent snooping around the building. What should we do with them?
Ada, go take care of that.
Well, that guy's about to die. Pulling up his mask to cover half of his face, Ada nodded and wasted no time hurrying out of the office. His departure was quiet and precise. Roman glared at Emerson. One more fuck up and you're done. Emerson lowered their head and nodded. Find out what Pavel is making. Roman stepped over Lexus's body as he made his way to the door. Riker, clean this up.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Oh, they still zooming away. The streetlights lining the highway streamed past. The liminal space of the lanes left an unsettling heaviness in the pit of Sasha's stomach. The rest of the car ride back to Strexa building was quiet, and only accompanied by the hum of the car's engine and the occasional shift of gears. Neither Pavel or Vadim said a word, both fixated on the road ahead. Sasha leaned his head against the cool window and let his eyes close. Take me to Dima. I'm ready to talk. Mishka. His thoughts were interrupted when the car slowed, pulling off an exit ramp and into the back roads. Sasha adjusted his position a little and pulled at the seatbelt across his chest. His fingers gripped the nylon tight. His hair smelled of smoke. Vadim pulled the car around a bend and into the parking garage. With expertise, he parked the sports car and shut off the engine. For a moment, no one moved. Pavel's fingers tapped at his knees and toyed with a small piece of thread around the inseam of his pants. Okay, let's go talk to Dima. Pavel sighed. With a nod, he opened the door and stepped out of the vehicle. Vadim followed suit, opening the door and moving the seat forward to give Sasha enough room to climb out. Vadim looked over at Pavel, who followed quietly behind him. Reaching out, Vadim grabbed Pavel's hand and intertwined their fingers. Pavel squeezed tight. Sasha started for the elevator and said nothing as all three of them stepped inside, the doors closing soon after. Where is he? Most likely at Intel with Indigo. They're overseeing a field mission right now. I don't know where that is. We'll take you there. It didn't take long for the elevator to reach its destination. A single ding sounded and the doors opened onto Strexa Hall. Sasha stepped out first and turned his head over his shoulder. Telling Dima what I saw that night will help us find Mishka, right? Pavel stared at Sasha for a moment, the corner of his mouth lifting into a gentle smile, and he nodded. Yeah, I'm sure of it.
Okay.
After I do, though, I'm staying. He's my best friend. I want to be there when we find him. Vadim gave a gentle tug to Pavel's hand and stepped out of the elevator. They're in the middle of a field mission, so be careful not to make too much noise. Vadim released Pavel's hand and pushed the door to the intel room open. Oh, look at this fancy room. Sasha briefly closed his eyes, trying to gather himself. After Vadim's warning, Sasha did his best to stay close to the far wall as he entered the room. Pavel followed closely behind him. Careful, Jonas. This is Indigo. Oh my god. Careful, Jonas. There's a stairway to the left that I haven't mapped out yet. Wait for our drone to finish mapping the area. Gotcha. Wait until it's clear. Oh, Jonas. Sasha glanced over Indigo, taking notes of her headset and the efficient way she navigated her giant 4-screen monitor setup. It was almost scary how fast her fingers moved across the keyboard. In a way, it was almost hypnotic. Dima leaned near the screens. His hand gripped the back of the Indigo's chair.
All right.
Right. There, see that? That vent there is big enough for him to get through. Have him bug the vents in the side hall. Has he bugged an area before? Hey, I've set up bugs before. Have some faith.
Dima.
Indigo glanced over his shoulder at the sound of Pavel's voice, then turned back to the screens. Dima stood upright and let his hand fall from the back of Indigo's chair. He crossed his arms and turned towards the three of them.
What?
I see all of you've returned from your trip. Pavel flexed his fingers into fists and he took a deep breath. Don't give me the disappointed dad look. I have a valid reason for what I did, so listen. Dima's gaze scanned across all of them before turning his attention back to Pavel.
All right.
I'm listening. Echo stole and reproduced my NS in a warehouse. The drug that I pulled for being too addictive? Yeah, that one. That strain was too dangerous. I don't want it back in the city. Dima uncrossed his arms. So, you took it upon yourself to blow up a warehouse without clearance. I took it upon myself to stop them and get rid of it all. Yeah? You didn't have the authorization to do that. Sasha turned his gaze between the two, uneasiness prickling the back of his neck. I thought they knew where Mishka was. With that possibility in mind, finding Mishka would have been well worth the risk. If I would have waited, they could have relocated. It was now or never. Dima, we cut it off at the source. Did you even consider the repercussions of a high-profile stunt, Pavel? You destroyed an entire warehouse. And I'd do it again. He's an angry boy. He definitely would do it again. Enough, please. Jonas is in the field and I need to concentrate. Pavel scoffed and stepped closer to the Vadim. His nails bit into his palms. Dima lifted his hands and wiped them down his face, taking a deep breath. Indigo, where's Jonas now? The corridor on the left there. He's still bugging the vents. Dima turned his attention back to the giant monitors and leaned close to the screens. That night, Sasha rubbed the bottom hem of his shirt between his fingers while his shoulders sank. The day Mishka was kidnapped, he was already acting weird. He seemed paranoid, I guess.
Sasha.
Sasha, you don't have to.
Please.
No, just listen, please. He came with me to Trinity, this nightclub. I was bringing a box of NS to my boss. It was supposed to be a super quick thing and we just go home after. But he wanted to stay for a while, so we did. And we had some fun in the bathroom, yeah. And when we left, he just called me a cab and said he'd catch up later. Do you remember anything about what happened in the alley before Vadim found you? Mishka called me, and when I got there, he was already stabbed. He was bleeding. As you remember that night with Mishka, the same feeling of apprehension returned to his chest. It felt tight and painfully hot. No. The pool of blood beneath Mishka's body flashed in Sasha's mind. So much blood. This guy showed up. What did he look like? Take all the time you need. He was dressed in all black and his hair was black too. He was fast. There was others, but this guy in black called the shots. I see. Taking a few steps towards Sasha, Dima's expression softened.
Sasha.
Thank you for...
Jonas? The ceiling!
Jonas? Whipping his head towards Indigo, Dima rushed over. What? What happened? What happened? No, The screen went black, accompanied by the crackling sound of static through the headset.
Jonas? Jonas!
Indigo, rigid and completely quiet, stared back at the black screen. Oh no, what happened? The ceiling? What happened with the ceiling? Did it collapse on him? Indigo pried off her headset and set it down, her shaking fingers lingering on it. Pavel tightened his arms around himself and gripped onto the fabric of his sleeves. Sasha's heart was in his stomach. If he thought his feet felt heavier earlier, there was no way to move now. Only then did Sasha realize he had been holding his breath. There's no way. Maybe his headset disconnected. The look on everyone's face said otherwise. The sinking feeling in Sasha's stomach intensified when he glanced at Indigo. Did the ceiling collapse on him? Where was he? He was planting bugs in a vent. Indigo swallowed and pushed her chair back from the desk. Her eyes were brimming with big tears. He was setting up gears so we could get more information about Mishka's location, and Pavel hurried over to her and wrapped his arms around her shoulders. He said nothing, only held her close. He finally got a field job, and he worked so hard. Her soft sniffles interrupted into pained sobs. Indigo lifted her hands to cover her face. Her cries were muffled against Pavel's chest while he rubbed her back. No, he can't be. Yesterday, Jonas was just... And all this was for Mishka. Sasha's arms hugged his own body while he stared out the window.
Jonas's mission wasn't in vain. He was still able to plant a few bugs, and our drones finished mapping that ecto facility. Using that information, I could just go in and...
No.
No, absolutely not.
Pav?
They killed Jonas. Vadim, for just being there. What do you think they'll do to you? We need to take a step back. If we rush into this, we risk losing more than we gain. But we don't have time for a step back. I think Dima's right, Sasha. Rushing in might do more harm than good. Pavel lifted his hand and rubbed the back of his neck, glancing at Vadim. I'm only the extractor. I'm the only extractor we have left who's trained for a job this dangerous. Dima paused and brought his hand to his face, his fingers brushing over his bottom lip. Not the only one, no. Indigo lowered her hands from her face and wiped at her eyes. Dima, do you mean...
Natalie.
Pavel's eyes widened, his hand sliding off Indigo's back, though he kept a hand planted on her shoulder for reassurance.
Dima.
Natalie? The person you ran off because she couldn't stand you anymore? Natalie? That one? Dima ran a hand through his hair. His other hand gripped his hip. We don't have much of a choice. Natalie was our best extractor. We just have to get her to come back, and... She's been MIA, Dima. Sasha quietly stepped away from the group and walked over to the window, his eyes darting over the skyline of Sabina.
Yes.
She's exclusive and hard to track. And let's face it, none of us know the streets like she does. Sasha knows the streets pretty well. Then what do you suggest otherwise? The room became still. Indigo sighed and stared down at her hands.
I'll do it.
I knew it! I knew it! I'll find her. Sasha turned back from the window to see everyone's eyes on him.
No.
Absolutely not.
Huh?
What? Why? Sasha, I'm sure you're capable, but... No, he is capable. He knows the in and outs of the city better than we do. But he's had no formal training. Why would I need training? I'd just be looking around the city for this Natala person, right? Dima shook his head, frowning.
No.
Sasha, you're inexperienced. We wouldn't be able to guarantee your safety. I cannot afford to lose another person. Indigo can be in his ear then. and we can have Vadim on standby if he needs it. But Sasha blends in. Sasha is inconspicuous. I could keep a safe eye on him. Sasha clenched his jaw. Indigo looked between them and turned towards Sasha, her eyebrows upturned in worry. You said so yourself. We don't have any other options. It's the absolute least I can do if that means getting Mishka back. Are you seriously considering this? Jonas was a skilled agent and I was unable to protect him. Now you want to throw a civilian into the field. Dima threw his hands up and turned for the door. He flung it open and left without another word. Oh, what should we do? Go after Dima. Get ready for the mission. We should go make sure Dima's okay, I think. Wasting no more time, Sasha bolted for the door. His heart pounding in his chest, Sasha caught up to Dima and grabbed his forearm. Demon's body jostled at the touch. He stared at Sasha in disbelief. I lived my entire life downtown. If there's a corner of this city I haven't seen, then I know someone who does. Sasha raised his voice, his throat tightening with the strain. Sasha, I just don't want... If this Natalie person is hard to find as you say, then I'm the only person who can do this.
That's enough.
I know. I know that. I know you're capable. It's not about that. His fingers gripped around Sasha's wrist, holding tightly. Sasha squeezed Dima's arm, refusing to let Dima push him away. I know you want to save Mishka more than anything, but so do I. Whatever the risk. Dima grimaced at every word, tension building deep inside of him. His stomach twisted with guilt.
Sasha.
I cannot, will not lose another person. The risk is your life, Sasha. Your life in my hand. If we save Mishka at the expense of your safety, he will never forgive me. This is my choice. I'm the reason he was taken in the first place. Sasha's fingers unwound from Dima's wrist. He dropped his arm down to his side. Sasha, that's not your fault. It is, though. I dragged Mishka to the club and I'm the reason he was taken. Sasha bowed his head forward, hair falling over his eyes. He lifted his hands and covered his face, his shoulders shaking. Dima stepped forward and pulled Sasha close, feeling a pang in his chest as he comforted Sasha. Leaning his head down, Dima let both arms envelop Sasha, holding him against his chest.
Hey.
There's no way you could have known, Sasha. If anything, I should have been more prepared. Sasha said not a word, only allowed his body to relax into Dima's arms. He buried his face into the taller man's shoulder and sighed.
It's okay. You did everything you could.
We'll find Mishka. We will. A few moments passed and Dima lifted his head from Sasha's. He eased the other man back and squeezed his shoulders. Sasha struggled to make eye contact as he continued to wipe his tears away from his fingers. Away with his fingers. Are you sure you want to do this? Sasha nodded and lifted his palm to rub at his reddened eyes, swallowing the lump in his throat. I know these streets. I got this. Yeah, absolutely sure. Okay, now it's annoying. A soft smile formed on Sasha's face, and it wasn't long before he chuckled. Dima couldn't help but break into a weak smile himself. He shook his head.
All right.
Okay, you'll find Natalie and bring her back here. I can do that. Tomorrow, we'll have Indigo set you up with some equipment so we can monitor and assist you in the field. Vadim will be on standby if you need him. Sasha gave Dima a wiry smile. It's just the city, Dima. I can find my way around. Despite the day's roller coaster of emotions, Sasha's body felt lighter, like a weight was lifted off of him. Yeah, he's feeling better that he can actually do something to try to help. Find Mishka. Get some rest. We'll need you out there early.
Okay.
I will. As soon as I figure out where my room is. Oh, he's still lost. Can I have a escort back to my room? Thank you. Heck yeah. Alright, he's back in the field. Heck freaking yeah. Alright. Heck yeah, heck yeah. We're gonna go out and do some investigating. Okay. I'm gonna leave this part here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh my gosh, I hope we get some good leads. We need to get Mishka back. Mishka's our boy. I really didn't think, Mishka'd be gone this long. But dang, we gonna get him. We gonna get you one way or another. Okay. If you guys like this part, please consider leaving a like or a comment down below. It makes this bird boy happy and lets me know that you guys are interested in the story and wanting to see more. And I will see you next time. Bye!